Hi, my name is Jasmine, and I'm a PhD student at the University of Alberta. I've lived with type 1 diabetes for 17 years now, and I research stem cell-derived beta cells in hopes of figuring out how we can make cell replacement therapy. But I think the most interesting part about my work is I'm also a diabetes artist. I got interested in science and working in stem cell research probably the day I was diagnosed. And my grade 6 teacher actually allowed me to do a project on stem cells many years ago. I think that kind of formed that lifelong need to know about diabetes, and it led me to the field today. My work focuses on looking at how we can make stem cell-derived beta cells function a little bit better. So currently in the field, stem cell-derived beta cells will not release insulin in a regulated manner like human cadaveric beta cells do. So when we're looking at transplant, we need to make sure that these cells are safe for transplant. So my work compares cells from human primary donors and stem cell-derived islets or stem cell-derived beta cells. We try to figure out what is different between the two and what have we done right between the two. I started doing artwork, diabetes-related artwork in particular, because I really struggled with confidence with wearing my insulin pump out in public. So my partner said, why don't you start decorating your insulin pumps? And that kind of fast forwarded me to today. And one of the examples of the artworks I've made is right on my arm right here. So I'm a diehard Oilers fan. You can see that my pump is decorated and modified to show that pride. So I started working with my institute to create a art collection that would not only teach people about some of the struggles with type 1 diabetes, but also allow donors to donate into a research fund. So I went from decorating devices into decorating walls because I ended up getting a scholarship that kind of allowed me to step back from, making money to afford my own diabetes. And so I wanted to make a bigger impact, and I wanted to teach people about the nuances of living with diabetes. Not just living with diabetes, but living with diabetes and researching diabetes also. What led me into studying type 1 diabetes was getting inspired by the We Are Not Waiting movement. Back in 2019, I learned about it, and when I got onto my loop system, it changed my world, it changed my life. And I kind of was thinking, we're not waiting, we're not waiting, we're not waiting. And I said, I don't want to wait anymore. So then I enrolled myself into my PhD program looking at stem cell therapies. And it's kind of a nice roundabout way of how I got here. Through my work here, I got to meet lots of patients that ended up undergoing an islet transplant. And what I learned was it gave them their life back. So originally I thought, like immunosuppression is horrible and all this stuff. But when I hear from people with actual transplants, they're really happy with them. And it really gave them a new lease on life. So it's exciting to hear that. The way that these art pieces were created were in groups. So basically I would come to my group of people living with diabetes with a sketch, and then we would have a circle and talk about what really did that mean. And one thing that, if you look at the pieces kind of in unison, what you'll notice is there's kind of an underlying tone of optimism. So a lot of my colors are quite bright. So for the painting Trauma, there's a lot of brightness there because diabetes does have bright spots. So there's little aspects of optimism through the paintings, but the emotions are quite big. And I think that's what emotions revolving a chronic illness are like. They're everything. They're upsetting, they're tormenting, they feel like too much. They sometimes are exciting, sometimes they're vulnerable, but there's always that optimism because that's what you need to get through living with diabetes. My thoughts about cell transplants they're exciting. And I think once we have the safety and the proof that we can do this reliably and consistently and safely in patients, I'm excited to see where treatment options go for people like me.